Hey guys, I am the Off-Rail Gamer and you're welcome back to Atari April. This is our final episode and I'm kicking off here with some Kaboom. Now, this is a paddle game. I didn't realise it was a paddle game even though it does say on the front of the cartridge, because this is one that I wanted to showcase last week and couldn't get working. And then I read the cartridge and saw play with paddles. So that's what I'm doing. And as you can see, the concept of this game is you've got this villain at the top of the screen and he's dropping bombs and I am turning just the dial on the paddle. So this is the one with the rotating dial that we played Night Driver on last week or the week before. I think it was the week before, wasn't it? And that is steering my sort of baskets back and forth here. I'm trying to catch all these bombs. If I drop one, they go kaboom. Name of the game, really. But look how fast it gets. So it does get quite tricky. I'm going to have another go at this. It's a proper Atari game. Although, what I will say, and I've said this in the beach volleyball game before, and that was really with just stick figures, wasn't it, if you remember. But look at that. The guy at the top there, he's got a mask on, he's got his stripy jumper on. You know, he's your classic cartoon bad guy. I think it looks quite neat. I'm not doing great though. Look at the speed of that. Oh, I don't think we're going to go much longer. As with all these Atari games, the challenge just gets greater and greater with every level. But that's the great thing about Atari, is you're always looking to beat your previous score. So let's try and get... We've broken 200, I'm happy with that. We didn't get far past 200. Let's have a look at... This is Pole Position, and this is a racing game. However, it's not on the paddle, so it's pretty similar in style to Night Driver. Night Driver, of course, we played with the paddle. This, set in the daytime. Similar concept, really. I'm accelerating with the button on the joystick, and I'm steering left and right with the joystick, and I've got to try and overtake cars. However, I'm not entirely sure when it ends. So in Night Driver, it was quite clear you had a sort of a timer counting down. On this, I noticed the time was actually going up, so we've got 56, 57, you can see in the top right corner just above the L there. So maybe it'll let you have so many crashes, I'm not sure. We're going to find out in a second, I guess. I don't know if it's a certain number of laps, but we're getting past these cars. Our score is going up there. We've just broken 10,000 points. Happy with that. It's probably not a great score. But, and there we go. It just kind of ends. So I'm not entirely sure what's going on with that game. Here is a real classic though. You'll recognise this one. This is Centipede. If you haven't played Centipede before, the easiest way to describe it, well, you can see it on screen. It's a little bit like Space Invaders. You've got this spider, gives you bonus points, and basically you want to get rid of the centipede before he reaches the bottom of the screen. And we're just shooting up like you would in Space Invaders, so it's a pretty simple sort of game. I don't actually own Space Invaders on the Atari. I've got it on the Master System. Well, Super Space Invaders I think it is on the Master System. But I don't own Space Invaders on the Atari, so this is the closest we're going to get this month to a Space Invaders type game. And he got me, look at that. He's reached the bottom of the screen. And crumbs, if that didn't hurt. And the spider's got me. Oh dear, this is going very badly now. Right, we've got that spider. Bonus points. Only got 5,000 points though. He's got me down to the bottom again. And that's game over. Well, I think we're going to reset. I want to have another go at this. And this is... Oh, look, I can go up. So I can go up. Ah! I've missed a trick there, haven't I, on that last game when the centipede got to the bottom. I bet I could have just hopped it. Well, we know now. But yeah, that's the great thing with these Atari games, is, yeah, they're simple games. They don't take long to play. I've said this kind of all month. All through Atari April, I've said, you know, they're not long games. You're going to be finishing them in a few minutes. 5-10 minutes, you finished the game. But what a lot of them do so well... I should have jumped that one. What a lot of them do so well is that sort of one more try. Try and beat your high score. Keep you coming back. I guess back in the day, because this was video gaming, you know, you didn't have much choice. You were gonna boot it back up. But as I say, the Atari, it does it so well. It makes you want to play these games again. They are only simple, graphically simple. There's not really much storyline to them. They are very simple, basic games. But I guess it's that sort of old school arcade style. What is that flying across there? They really do make you want to come back for more, I think. Ah, spider got me. It's not game over, is it? We're straight back in. Straight back in for a new game. I will call it after this one. This is what I say though, you see. I can't give it up. We'll have a look at something else after this one. But yeah, I've really thoroughly enjoyed Atari April so far. I say so far, we're in the final episode. I hope you've enjoyed it too. You know, they're not like, I mean, they're certainly not a AAA title or anything, especially by today's standards, but I hop over him. And that's what I should have been doing earlier. Got him. New level. But it's a nice bit of sort of retro gaming history, you know? You don't see these commonly anymore, these consoles, or these old games. And it's nice to be able to look back and see what got us to where we are today, because this is a million miles from something like Red Dead, GTA. But it had to start somewhere, didn't it? That is Centipede. Let's have a look at some Sequest. Now this is another game that I really wanted to make sure that I included in this month's showcase. So we are a little submarine, and we've got all these sharks and things. And basically all I have to do is avoid the sharks. I can shoot them down for extra points. I actually want to be saving these people. And then we've got these submarines, look at that. Shot me. I've lost a life. So we need to be a bit more careful of those submarines next time. Take out the sharks, take out the submarines, and save the swimmers. Oh, crumbs. I'm not gonna get that one though. Now, I am actually recording my voiceover after having played these games. So, as I record this little speech to you now, I know what I'm meant to be doing. As you're seeing the gameplay on screen, I was still very much figuring it out. But now I've worked it out. Save the people, and that's how we're going to get our bigger scores. And I had worked out not to dive into the sharks, but we'll go again. And, you know, because as I was saying during Centipede, it really is that one more try, just one more try. It was like bringing the arcade home, and that's what people from back in the day always used to say about these consoles. Was, you know, it was that arcade experience in the home. And certainly you got that with the slightly later consoles, the NES and the Super Nintendo. Now, you've got quite a lot to watch out for on this, because you're not just dodging sharks and submarines, But as you can see, you've also got an oxygen bar at the bottom there, so you can only stay under the water for so long, and you need to go and resurface. I haven't yet worked out how many swimmers you can take on board with you, but I do know that once we've got a few, we want to get them back up for air. Take out them sharks there. It's getting a bit busy now, isn't it, the screen? And that is how this game gets harder and harder, is it just gets busier and busier, throws more enemies on the screen for you to try and... I mean, look at this! Got 3 rows of sharks there. Crazy. Now, if that had been submarines... Oh, oops. Spoke too soon. You know, all of a sudden, you've got quite a lot to dodge. But yeah, the other nice thing is, yes, the graphics are very basic, they're very blocky, but you don't really have to use your imagination, do you? You can see what everything is. You can see what it's meant to be. I think they did with the limitations of the hardware that they had back in the day. And also the fact that this was really sort of pioneering for a lot of video game architecture, I want to call it. This led the way. They were still figuring things out. But what they did manage to do was create some really great fun gaming experiences. Crumbs, would you look at that? That was close. Let's get back up for air. Avoid those submarines. And you can sort of, well, I think you can very easily, ouch, shark. I think you can very easily see how video games progress, because it's not a massive leap from this to your sort of Super Mario Bros. On the Nintendo. There we go, I've gone again. I think I'm on the final life now. So after this, oh, how many sharks? How many sharks did they want to throw at me there? Oh, that was close. They were submarines as well. Dodge that shark. Oh, fiddlesticks. Onwards and upwards, we have got another driving game that I want to show you here. This one is simply called Grand Prix. What I do like, this is obviously a top-down view, and I guess it's sort of loosely modelled on the kind of Formula 1 car shape of the day. I mean, this is going back to the Atari 2600, I think, came out, I want to say 1977. But it was still going into the 80s, so these are either going to be modelled on cars from the 70s or the 80s. But it makes me laugh a little bit because, to me, they sort of look like kazoos, you know? That was a very poor impression of a kazoo. But that's what they sort of look like to me, sort of kazoos with wheels sticking out the side. But it's got a real charm to it again. In this, you're really just trying to beat your time. So here I'm up in the 40 second mark. You're racing to the finish line. I've done quite badly here. I've crashed a lot. So what I'd do is I'd come back and try and beat that time. And lastly, do you know, I have had such trouble trying to capture this game. For some reason, my Elgato just keeps blanking out almost every time I put this in. It's playing on the TV, so it is going through the capture card, but to be able to actually get it to record, I've had a lot of trouble with this. I wanted to play this all the way back in episode 1 of Atari April, and this is simply called, I think it's called Video Pinball. It's not quite Space 3D. Look at that though, we've levelled up, and now our sort of buffers there, they're worth 2 points every time you hit them instead of 1. So yeah, it's quite clever in its own way, and it is pinball. It's very basic, but it really is pinball. So I'm sort of going to let this play out now. All I really want to say is I've really enjoyed Atari April. I hope you have too. I felt a little bit deflated when I finished capturing this one. But there we go, we're on our final ball. I shall let this play out, and all that's left for me to say is I'll catch you next time. Really?